Welcome to State Listings Inc. My name is Dave. I am your host for today's webinar. We are the MLS for auctioneers. That's right, we are New York State MLS and My State MLS, and we are an MLS that covers the entire country and is letting auctioneers add their listings to our system and get additional exposure to other brokers and potential buyers across the country. So let's get things started. So what is My State MLS? Well, again, we are a nationwide MLS and referral network. We are a branch off of New York State MLS, which started about 10 years ago in the New York State MLS and have grown to become the largest MLS in New York several years ago. We opened it up to the entire country, and now we enjoy members from across the country. And who is using My State MLS? Well, it comes down to everyone. That includes brokers, mobile home dealers, and community owners, as well as you, the auctioneer. So how does it work? Well, as an auctioneer, you can add your property listings to the MLS, and once you do that, those listings are sent directly to different sites across the country. So what are we talking about? Well, here's a listing that's entered into My State MLS. I've kind of blocked out the actual address and the listing ID just for the purposes of this listing. But you can see it's marked as an auction, displaying on My State MLS. Here is that same exact listing, displaying on Zillow, coming directly from the MLS. And here it is on Realtor.com. This is just to show you that listings that you enter in to My State MLS can be seen by different buyers across the country on some of the biggest sites used by buyers today. So here we are. Let's head on over to MyStateMLS.com. You can visit us at MyStateMLS.com at any time, and there are plenty of different things that you can read about right from our site if you ever want to know more about how our system works. All right, so I'm going to log in, and now I'm brought to my account. Every user of My State MLS gets their own profile, and they get their own profile wall. What this is your customized dashboard, which gives you access to all of the different features used within the MLS. Going through them quickly, you can search listings using the quick search. You're going to be able to see your listings as well as your company listings. We have a company docs section, which allows you to upload different documents that you may want to be able to retrieve at any time while using the system. So if you are using My State MLS and you want to have different marketing brochures, different contracts that you use on a day-to-day basis, you can upload them directly to the MLS, and they can be retrieved at any time, no matter where you are. Below that, I've got my widget for my messages. These are messages that I receive from other members of the MLS, as well as other potential buyers that may find my listing online and come to me through the MLS. Lastly, we have a mortgage calculator and saved carts. Saved carts are when you do searches with the MLS, you can put listings into a cart, similar as if you were shopping online, say Amazon, but instead of putting books and other products into a cart, we're putting properties. We're not going to focus on this too much today, as today we're going to be talking about how you can get your auctions online using My State MLS. Before we move forward, I just want to remind you that the profile wall that you're seeing here is fully customizable. All of these different widgets can be collapsed and shrunk down. Say you're strictly just going to be using My State MLS to list your auctions and we don't want the quick search. We can go ahead, we can uncheck that. The same with the saved carts and the mortgage calculator. We can uncheck those boxes, and now we just have a couple different widgets that we use day-to-day basis. So now you can see I can reorganize them. I've got my listings here on the left, my company listings in the middle, and then my company docs and messages on the right. So we allow both individual auctioneers as well as entire auction houses to join My State MLS. If you've got several auctioneers that specialize in real estate auctions, you can join as a group and take advantage of a savings by doing an office membership. For individuals, membership is $35 a month or $320 for the full year. Monthly billing, there's no long-term commitment and you can cancel at any time. Yearly billing saves you $100 over that monthly price by committing to that full year up front. If you ever want to try it out, we always suggest that you sign up with just monthly billing, and you can cancel at any time. So as I mentioned before, and I showed you with that brief slideshow, by putting your listings into My State MLS, you can mark it as an auction, and it will display as an auction on the various different sites. So how do we go ahead and how can we get that listing into My State MLS? Well, I'm going to show you. So what I can do is I can click on New Listing on the left-hand sidebar menu, or I can go from the listing drop-down and click on Add New Listing. And what sets My State MLS apart from a traditional local MLS is not only do we allow auctioneers to join and utilize our system, but we've created the listing process to accommodate those specific and special fields that auctioneers typically use. So as we go through the listing wizard, you're going to see I've got fields that have a red heading and those that have a black heading. Anything that is in a red field, that's going to be required for you to fill out and move forward. You can see we've got our various different types of property types, whether it's a house, multi-unit commercial, or even land. We allow you to go ahead and list that in the system. So for this instance, we're going to go ahead and list a house. If we were to list something, say, as a multi-unit or a commercial or land listing, the listing wizard would actually transform and change itself based on the criteria of what we're listing. And I'll show you exactly how it does that right here. So you'll see I've got for sale and for rent. This is a sale auction. So if I click auction, you're going to see my original price changes, and now I have all of these additional fields that meet the needs of an auction. So the same thing would happen is if I was to select multi-unit instead of house, the listing wizard would again change itself, and instead of asking for just bedrooms and bathrooms, it's going to ask me to give descriptions of the different units that are within the property. But since we're doing an auction, this shows us all the different fields that pertain to this auction. We can select whether it's an absolute auction, yes or no, or if it's an online auction only, yes or no. I've got my auction URL, so if we need to bid online, we can just put the bid URL there. We've also got our start date and time. And then we've got our starting bid. You've got your starting bid, your reserve bid, and of course with absolute auctions, we urge our members to put in a fair market value, an estimated value there. If you're licensed in multiple states under the same company, we also allow you to have those multiple licenses associated with the same company. So you'll see I'm licensed in New York, California, Florida, Louisiana, and Texas. Now what I can do is I can start popping in the address for my home. And once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and click Next Step. Unlike a lot of different local MLS systems, instead of having to use one long listing form to fill out your listing, we actually break it down into smaller steps using our proprietary listing wizard. And what this does is it makes it a little bit easier to go through and create that listing because we're going to break it down into individual steps. And every time I go ahead and I click the next step, my listing's being saved, so I can always come back and finish it at a later date if I need to step out, I lose power, my internet goes out. I don't have to worry about it because everything is being saved right on the system. So again, we've got basic information about the home. We've got our listing type, our listing and expiration date, and whether or not we agree to the terms of use and have permission from the seller to post the listing. Below that, you're going to see our syndication feeds. This is that important step about getting your listing out to the public. So again, we saw before that we were able to get that auction on Zillow and on Realtor.com, and that all comes down to this step right here. So we feed directly to Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, Homes and Home Finder, as well as Nextdoor. We also do List Hub syndication, which sends out to about another 7 dozen sites across the country. Then we also have international syndication, which includes Juwai, which is the #1 site in China. Below that, we've got showing instructions. If there's any special showing instructions that you want to include with your auction listing, you can go ahead and put that there. Next step, we've got our commission information. Again, because you are putting an auction into an MLS, if any other MLS member were to bring the successful buying bidder to your property, you would need to offer them a commission split. And we've got those broken down here. You'll see there's 4 different fields. You're not required to fill out all 4 of them. You do just need to fill out one of them. So if we want, we're just going to give, say, 2% to the buyer's agent. And again, this is typically entered in your contract with your auction or is decided afterwards. Below that, we do require the owner's name as well as the owner's phone number, but please note this is not seen by any other members. This is just seen in-house for your office. And again, as we go through, we're just going to keep clicking next step, and that listing is going to get populated more and more with all the information that we put into the listing. None of these details here are required, but of course we are going to want this to be as complete as possible. We can check off all of the different rooms that are in the home, our kitchen type, our appliances. We can go through, mark off our flooring type as well as our heat and cooling type. And just as before, we can click next step, and that's going to bring us on to the next step of the listing. Before we did the inside of the home, now we're moving on to the outside of the home, discussing siding type, the roof surface, any other outbuildings, if there's a pool, any other amenities. Those are all going to be marked off here. If this particular property was in a community or in a co-op building, those features would be listed here. This is just a private home, so we can just go ahead and click the next step. Next is a very important step. This is your marketing text. So we've got this broken down into a few different steps. We've got our marketing headline, which is just a couple words, just like a newspaper is going to be your headline to grab the attention of any other members or potential buyers. And then is our unbranded marketing text below that. This is where we're just going to go ahead and put in our regular marketing text for the property. Below that is our branded postfix. This is a really cool field that you don't see in many other places. What we allow our members to do is go ahead and actually put their branded contact information directly onto the listing through the branded postfix. So I can write for more info, call Dave at 888-769-7657 or email Dave at MyStateMLS.com. Now this is going to be attached to my listing within MyStateMLS. It's also going to appear at the top, or excuse me, on the bottom of my listing description on the compatible websites that take this field. Next is private remarks and directions to the property. This is seen by other members of the MLS. This is not seen by the public. Now we have our virtual tour link and the YouTube link. These are great fields to utilize because these are fields that are sent to the third-party sites such as Zillow, Truly, or Realtor.com. So if you've got an auction listing that's actually online or the bidding for the property is online, go ahead and use that virtual tour link and post that there, because that's going to be attached to the listing not only within the MLS, but that virtual tour link is also sent to those third-party sites. So buyers that come to the listing, they find it on Zillow or Truly, if they click that virtual tour link, it's going to bring them to the site where they could also bid for that property as well. Next is tax and fee information. Again, these are not required fields, so if you do not know them, you don't have to fill it out. Getting towards the end of it now, we are looking at adding photos to this property. And we make it very, very easy to upload photos. I've got a folder here, and I've got all of my properties all lined up in different folders. This is a great little trick that I like to share with members, is instead of having just one folder with all of your listings on it, or one folder with all of your pictures, like say if your photo album looks like this is the wrong way to do it, because you can't decipher which photos belong to which property. So I always say make it easy on yourself. Make a new folder for each property that you're listing. So that way you find that home that you're listing, you've got all your photos for that particular property right there in the single folder. And what I can do is I can just select them all, drag them into the box, and I can click Start Upload. And instead of having to upload all of my photos just one at a time, of dragging, dropping one single photo at a time, all of my photos get added right at once, all through the photo uploader. So now that my photos have uploaded, now what I can do is I can go through and drag and drop my photos into the order I think is best. I can add captions if I'd like, and once I'm done, I click Next Step, and there we go. My listing is now fully created. I can just go ahead and click Go Live, and this listing would be live in the MLS and then start being syndicated out to the third-party sites. Again, you're going to see that my listing is marked as an auction. Right here at the top, it'll be flagged as an auction on those third-party sites as well. So I'm seeing some questions coming in, people saying, well, how can I get my listing on Zillow and Trulia? That's the best way to do it, and that's why we're here as My State MLS, and this is why we're reaching out to the auctioneer community to let you know that there is an MLS out there that is designed to help auctioneers market their properties and market them properly. Again, going back to the very beginning of this listing, we have these auction-specific fields that are targeted specifically towards the auctioneer community. And once you've put your listing in, we'll go back to our example again. Here's a listing right here within My State MLS, being syndicated out to Zillow, marked as an auction, also being sent out to Realtor.com. So again, just to wrap things up, the way My State MLS helps auctioneers is through our listing syndication, the ability that we've created an MLS platform with auctioneers specifically in mind. If you want to join, you can join us anytime by going to MyStateMLS.com and clicking on the sign up button right at the center of the screen. You'll be brought through the process and be signed up right away. It's $35 a month or $320 for the full year. If you'd like, you can also sign up as a whole office. So again, if you have an auction house, you've got multiple real estate auctioneers with your company and you'd like to sign up for office pricing, please give me a call at 888-769-7657. You can also email me at dave@mystatemls.com. I will be more than happy to answer any specific questions that you have, so feel free to reach out to me at any time. I will be happy to answer any questions that you have, regardless of the topic, so feel free to reach out to me at dave@mystatemls.com or give me a call at 888-769-7657. Whether you're an office or even an individual, I'm here to help. Again, thank you so much for joining me today. We look forward to seeing you soon, and hopefully we'll be working together very soon. Have a great day.